This video shows the tragic moments when Air Canada Express Flight 8646 landed and then collided at more than 100 miles per hour with a fire truck at LaGuardia Airport late Sunday night. In slow motion, the devastating impact to the nose of the aircraft is more clear.
Frontier 4195, just stop there, please. Stop, truck one, stop. Stop, truck one, stop. Stop, truck one, stop. 646, I see you collide with the vehicle in just hold position. I know you can't move. The vehicles are responding to you now.
That wasn't good to watch.
Yeah, I know I was here. I tried to reach out to my stuff. We were dealing with an emergency earlier. Nothing.
No, man, you did the best you could.
In all honesty, it's I'm a little shaken up by all this, but I feel grateful to be alive.
You were seated where?
I was in seat 18A, which was pretty much by the wing on the left side.
Okay. Right by an exit row.
Yeah, right in front of the exit row. Yeah.
Okay. So when did you realize something? That passenger was talking about hearing the brakes? Did you hear that?
Yeah, I mean, we came in really hard. I definitely remember that. Like, it was an uneasy sense when we landed immediately because I felt like the pilots had just absolutely tried to slow the plane down as much as they possibly could. And
were there any kind of? There were no announcements or anything.
As we came in, they said, prepare for landing, and there was some talk about turbulence, but there was no announcement when we were about to hit the.
There was no
truck.
Brace for impact, anything like that.
Nothing like that.
When did you realize? I mean, did you feel the impact? Did you hear it?
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody got completely jolted. I mean, we all, everybody just banged something. I mean, nobody's really expecting to hit a truck in that moment. They're always just kind of sitting a little bit more relaxed back in their seat. And so come the moment of impact, a lot of people will hit their head. There was blood. There was screaming. It was a really harrowing moment.
Did the plane, and if any of this you don't want to talk about, this is completely fine, but did the plane continue? I mean, was it a sudden halt or did it go?
No, it actually continued to slide for a bit longer. It was the original bang and complete panic for everybody, but then it was also this moment when you realized the plane lost control of where it was going. And then the only question was will I live? Will I see my loved ones again?
You had that thought?
Yeah.
Did you hit the seat or anything in front of you?
Yeah.
Or
I have a little
is that the little the bruise up there?
Yeah.
What happened then? I'd heard other people say there wasn't an announcement, so passengers took it upon themselves to.
Yeah, I don't think there was really a chain of command. I mean, the pilots didn't make it, and so one of the passengers, I think her name was Rebecca. She was right by the passenger aisle, and she kind of took a little initiative, and she helped get the door open, and we all kind of jumped right on out. There was a few tarmac people already out there, and we jumped on the wing and jumped down, and everyone was kind of helping each other. There's people helping with holding people's hands, there's people helping with people's luggage, and there was this kind of really strong sense of we're a community and we're going to get through this one together.
And you were out on the tarmac for a while.
Yeah, we were out on the tarmac for about 30-40 minutes before any bus had came pick up. I don't think there was a ready to go protocol really for them. They kind of just had a plane crash, and their first thought was, let's get ambulances, let's get medics, and then after that they kind of saw us and they brought some.
Did you realize once you were on the tarmac what had happened to the front of the plane? To the cockpit?
Yeah, that was so I was one of the earlier people out, and as I was out, we're all helping each other out a little bit. The front of the plane actually began to lift off. The nose of the plane was originally buried in the ground, and then the plane just started making this crashing sound, and the front of the plane just lifted up about 20 feet in the air to the picture that we see now.
Wow.
Yeah.
But you mentioned it a little, and we were talking beforehand. You said there was something kind of beautiful that happened among the passengers, that there was this sense of being together.
Yeah, we were all out there together. There was people sobbing, there was people bleeding, but I mean, people were sharing coats, people were helping each other with their blood. I mean, with the blood coming off. And there was definitely like a lot of people looking out for each other in this moment.
Well, I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us about it.
I was seated in the left side of the exit row by the emergency exit door, and as the plane was descending onto the landing strip, I noticed that there were a line of emergency vehicles that were along the left side of the landing strip, far away from where we were landing. I didn't think anything of it, but we landed pretty normally. It was rainy, wet conditions, it was foggy, but nothing out of the ordinary. We made it probably about halfway down the tarmac until what felt like a sudden stop. I equate it to if you've ever been in a car and somebody brakes hard or pulls an emergency exit on a train and everybody jolted forward really abruptly. And then maybe a second or two later, people were thrown backwards as it felt like we had hit a large object. And everyone inside was very confused as to what had happened, terrified, frightened, scared, upset, every emotion that you can probably imagine. And then it quickly turned into everybody asking each other, "Are you okay? Is anybody injured? Is anybody seriously injured? Can anybody move?" So everybody was trying to help each other. And it all happened in a matter of 30, 45 seconds.
We're also hearing from the daughter of a flight attendant who was found alive outside that plane, still strapped into her seat after the crash took place. Her daughter says that her mother was seated directly behind the pilots when the plane landed. She was ultimately ejected more than 300 feet from the plane. She suffered multiple fractures and was taken to the hospital to have surgery on her broken leg after.
I want to extend my sympathies to the families of the two pilots. These were two young men at the start of their careers, so it's an absolute tragedy, that we're sitting here, with their loss.
There was a CJR 900 from Montreal here to LaGuardia, operated by Air Canada Express and by Jazz. It collided with a Port Authority fire truck at approximately 11:45 p.m. last night. There were 72 passengers on the plane and 4 crew. Approximately 40 people were sent to the hospital after the crash. Several have also been released. As has been reported, the 2 pilots of the aircraft passed away in the crash last night. I do want to note that we send our deepest condolences to their families as they're going through, no doubt, a grieving process. There were 2 individuals in the fire truck. They too were sent to the hospital after the crash. Now, there's going to be a lot of questions, I know, about what do we know at this time. And what we are going to do is give you the information that we can. We all have the respect for the NTSB. The NTSB goes through a thorough investigation, and we are conscious about the information and the facts that we give you because we want that information to be accurate. There's some information that we hold back that the NTSB has that we allow them to do the investigation, and it takes months, sometimes up to a year before we get the findings of that investigation. But NTSB is on the ground at the airport. The FAA is on the ground. Over 10 people from the FAA are here, as well as Transport Canada is sending a team to LaGuardia as well. As of now, LaGuardia is open. There is a reduced capacity because the aircraft and the fire truck are still in their positions from last night. So we are going to have reduced capacity for some time, but the airport is operational.
Actually, we're traveling back to Houston, Texas, where we live. We've been here since yesterday, 4:30. TSA lines were about 3 hours long. So once we finally got through, they kept pushing our flights back, and then the whole accident happened with the airplane and the fire truck. So they finally canceled at 2 in the morning. We left, went to a hotel, got back at like 7 in the morning, and they pushed it back until 2 in the afternoon today. So it's been pretty bad.
That's not the only thing that makes me feel unsafe about flying. The stuff that's going on around the world. I don't know if I want to be in an airplane, but I have to be back on Wednesday in another airplane. It's just chaotic. Just chaotic, and you know, there's so many planes to put in the sky, you know. So, but we gotta have more things going on, and we cannot shut I'm going to get political. We cannot shut the country down twice in less than a year, okay? Because people nose get rattled, and when your nose get rattled, you do some crazy stuff. Not only that, you need money. You can concentrate. You have the wheel in your hand, but the wheel is shaking because you know your bills are not paid. We need to stop this foolishness and stop shutting down the country so often.
I mean, I was obviously upset. Like, why did Southwest cancel my flight and not tell me? Well, now that I understand what happened, it makes sense. And I mean, obviously, that's a very tragic occurrence, that what happened with the Air Canada flight. So anyway, just trying to adjust and make the best of it. So just setting up shop here and doing my work.
The question is, how long will that runway be closed for us to conduct our investigation? It's going to take some time. I just want to express how much there is a lot of debris. We need to go through all of that and to figure out what we need to take back to the NTSB, to our labs, what we might want to collect. First and foremost, what we need to take pictures of to document that evidence. That's all evidence. And we need to document that first. Then we need to collect some of that evidence. Then we get to that. It's going to be days.
So it is exceedingly rare. I've been a pilot for 15 years, and I've never seen a plane in a ground vehicle collide on a runway before. It's just one of those kind of freak accidents that happened. Pilots didn't have a lot of time to react because they're still in the landing phase, which case they're really focused on the runway. And so there wasn't a lot of time for the pilot to veer off the runway or maneuver. And so it's just very unfortunate what happened here. But yes, it's very rare. In the sense I get, you know, with these systems, because the timing was just so split second, it's like you got a car going 100 miles an hour and it's 50 feet away from a brick wall. You just got that real split second, so it's really hard to react. I mean, it's almost kind of, you almost have to use like a reflex in order to be able to stop this airplane or veer off the runway. And when you're so focused and this thing suddenly just appears right in front of you, and you're not used to ground vehicles crossing your path right in front of you, that speed and that timing was so fast, it would be hard for any real system to kind of react. To me, that doesn't look consistent with 24 or 30 miles an hour. That looks more consistent with 80, 90, 100, 110 miles an hour. And if I'm not mistaken, I think also a flight attendant was strapped down in the flight attendant jump seat and was thrown from where she was sitting. So I don't think a 30 mile an hour collision would do that. That seems to be much more consistent with a very high speed impact where we might see like 90 or 100, 110, somewhere around there. You had a chain of events. I believe the firefighters were responding to a United Airlines plane where there were reports of noxious fumes in the cabin that were making people sick. And so that's originally why it was responding. But at all times, ground vehicles have to be in touch with air traffic control anywhere on the field. And especially when you're crossing an active runway, because all airplanes have right-of-way over the ground vehicles. It sounded like the firefighters were following the controller's instructions for crossing the runway. It's just the controller made a mistake and not piecing the whole thing together, where you have a fire truck crossing an active runway with a plane that has landed and is finishing it's what we call the rollout phase of the landing. And so, yeah, it was just a chain of events.
播报新闻是我的日常，必须时刻保持妆容和皮肤的最佳状态。 当来到人生中最重要的时刻，也是 KS 逆时奇迹帮助我轻松驾驭，闪闪发光。KS 逆时奇迹活肤露全效精华、精华霜，多达5种 EGF 6大冻龄关键成分，保湿效果让我非常满意，小细纹也不再困扰我。我就是我自己的最佳女主角 ，KS 让我从容自信，光彩动人。我是我人生中的大女主，我的最爱我做主。KS 逆时奇迹系列热卖中，下单请上快点购，透过中天新闻网 App 下单立减50，或输入 CTI 推荐码有额外折扣。